Hello everybody, I'm Yami D, and welcome to Level 1, the show where I talk about my first impressions of game that I've only played for about an hour, 3 hours, first world. It all depends on what kind of game it is. And today's game is going to be Siren for the PlayStation 2. This was developed by Project Siren, which is a smaller company and a bigger company in Japan, and it was released in 2003. And this is a very interesting horror game that isn't like Silent Hill or Resident Evil at all. Like it's so much different than anything I've played before because I like to play horror games. I like horror, and most of the time, nothing really scares me as much as I get really anxious in some games. Like Outlast, I definitely got really super anxious with, but that's not how this one feels. This one has a very creepy, ominous vibe that I haven't really gotten in some horror games, and I've only played like an hour and a half. I've only played for a little bit, and I can already tell that I'm enjoying it. And the things that are different about it's almost like you would take Metal Gear, like the stealth and stuff, whatever. No, I don't care. It's almost like you were to take Metal Gear and mix it with kind of the village idea that was used in Resident Evil 4, would make it a lot creepier and darker and a little bit different. Because for the most part, the village is filled with these. They're like zombies, but they're not zombies because they're not rotting flesh. They're just like possessed. They're like a bunch of possessed demon people that wander around and they try and murder you. And your whole objective is to just get by them without dying. And the other thing that's different about this game is that you don't play it like the reason I say it's not like Silent Hill or Resident Evil is because it's not, you're in this area, get out of this area. Now you go to here, now get out of here. Or like in Resident Evil, where it all takes place in the mansion and a couple surrounding areas. This one is like, it's not like start to end. It's not like a full thing. It's short episodes that you have to beat. So it's almost like playing levels in like Mario or something, but each of them are their own thing. So like the first area gives you the basic idea of how you move and interact with things. And it takes it slow enough so it doesn't feel like a tutorial as much as it's, alright, you're in the game, here you go. And it gives you the option. It says if you hit, I believe it says like if you hit start or something, you can view the controls. So you can check the controls, or you can do what I did and just jump in and try and like figure out what I'm doing. And so the first area, I'm going to spoil a little bit, is you're getting chased by like a possessed, like one of these monsters, and I believe they call them, what are they called here? I think it says in here. Boop-a-doo-boo. It doesn't say on here. I'll put a little thing somewhere that says what they are. But these guys, it's like a possessed police officer dude, and he's like coming after you, and you have to escape him. So to escape him, you kind of slide down this little tiny, like it's a hill kind of. Like, you can get back up it if you really want to, but you don't want to because he's behind you and he's going to get you with his police gun. So you slide down, and right in front of you there is a car, and then there's a small like building. So it's almost like this. It's like an office. I think it's supposed to be like a police building or something. Like, I don't know, or a construction. It's something. So it's this little building, and there's a car. So your first instinct is to go, oh, I'll go up to the car and I'll get in the car or something. But then you're like, you get to the car and it's like, oh, it's locked. And it's like, oh, of course, that makes sense. But unlike Silent Hill or anything, where usually when it says like, oh, it's locked, it's usually like, or it doesn't say it's locked, it's like it's unusable or it doesn't move or something like that. It just says it's locked. So then you go into the house and you press the X button, and of course the door opens. So you're like, sweet. So you look around this like room or whatever, and you go to the table and there's like a key, so you like automatically press X to pick it up because it opens the door. But that's not how the game works. See, it uses triangle for any action other than opening and closing a door. So if you want to pick something up, you hit triangle. But if you're like when you pick something like triangle isn't the only thing that or pick up isn't the only command in there. Depending on what you have or where you are and what's going on in the game, different things appear. Like I haven't seen much, but at one point you get to play as a character with a gun, which reminds me, there's like 10 different characters, and I've only like experienced like 4 of them. But at one point you have a person with a gun, so you can actually go into the little menu, which is the triangle button, and it has the option to reload. So triangle is like your context sensitive kind of area. Like it's got different commands in it, but at some points like you can find other, like it does other things. So like it's for if you want to pick something up, or if you want to use an item in your inventory, or stuff like that. Like it does all of that. So rather than having to go into your inventory to say use a key, you just have to have the key with you and then go to where you need to use the key and hit triangle, and it'll come up say use this key. So it's a little bit streamlined. Well, it's like I find that easier. Like I said, I didn't play much, but I find that easier now that I've used it a bit to like Resident Evil or Silent Hill, where you actually have to use the item, kind of. I think it's more the older ones. I think some of the newer ones you don't have to do that anymore. But I remember, I don't know if it was a Silent Hill game, maybe it was a different game, but I just remember that like to use certain items, even if you know, it'll be like, oh yeah, I have a key for this. You still have to like use it or something. At least with a triangle, you can just like open it and be like, yeah, use it. So you escape from the police officer, and then they give you a little bit more context where you fall down and you get the main aspect / power of this game. And in what also sets apart Siren from Resident Evil and stuff, other than like its episodic kind of format, which I'm gonna touch back on that in a sec, is the mechanic called sightjacking, and this is where the stealth comes in. So what sightjacking is it's like in like stealth games where you have the option to look at security cam footage to see where things are coming for you. But rather than going into security cams, you're looking in through other people's eyes. So a lot of the game is played with a partner who can follow you. So that's one thing. So you can have a partner follow you, and you can look through their eyes. But what it's mainly used for is looking through the eyes of the enemies, because you really, for the most part, don't want to deal with enemies, because a lot of the times you don't have a weapon at all. And I like that. It's really cool, but it's really difficult. Like, it's good that most of the missions or like episodes or whatever are fairly short. Like each of them is like 10 to 20 minutes, depending on how good you are or if it's your first time trying this episode out. And because of that, you don't feel as discouraged when you lose, like when you mess up, because it's not like you have to go back really far, or it's not like you have to constantly go back to the save point, like in Silent Hill, where it's like, okay, well I found this item now, I gotta go back to save so I don't get fucked up or something, like so I don't die, or if I go into here it's a boss or something. So yeah, like I really like that. I also really like that it's been told from different characters' view. And the other thing that's cool is the story isn't exactly linear. Even though it's episodic by hours. So the game, the manual at least, states that there's 3 days in it, and it's not like you play day 1 as one character and then you go play day 1. No. It's like you play day 1, hour 1 or something like that. Or you play from the time of like 7 to 7:30 or something like that. Like it's interesting how that works. And then as you beat areas, it shows different points on the map that you could, or in the like the episodes that you could go to. Like you can beat the main objective, which is usually straightforward and it always tells you, or you can beat the sub objective, which I haven't done yet, but it like shows you. So you get more story when you replay it. So there's actually replay value compared to like games like Silent Hill or Resident Evil, where you just get like a different ending if you do it faster, or you make sure this doesn't happen. In this one, you go back and you can play a different storyline altogether if you're doing things right. Which is awesome. I like that, and I'm excited to play more of it now. And so yeah, that's the thing about the episodes. It's really cool. It has like different paths to take, which is sweet, and I love it. And it's awesome. It's good. But no, that's pretty much all I can say that I can think of that I want to talk about. Like, it's got a really cool story so far. I don't know much what's going on. It reminds me of Higurashi when they cry, and I'm super into that. I like the anime, I like the manga, I like the games, even though I like some of the drawings and stuff in the manga and the anime better. But when you think about it, that the original thing was made by one dude, and the person was awesome. They did awesome. They did awesome. But it has that kind of creepy village vibe, because it starts off at night, but I'm quite certain the whole game doesn't take place through night, because like day 2, I believe, starts in the middle of the day or something like that, and it's really cool. So if you can find a copy of Siren, you should pick it up, because it's cool. It's awesome. Lots of fun. I haven't tried the pseudo remake, because I knew about that before I picked this one up. And the reason I didn't want to try it is because I'd heard it, the mechanics are really weird, and I think that's just the mechanics of Siren itself, because they are weird at first. You really gotta like fiddle with it and figure out what you're doing, but they're definitely rewarding, and it's lots of fun when you start playing it, because it feels, you gotta go into it playing it like Metal Gear or like a stealth game than playing a horror game, because in a horror game there's always that, well, I can just run past all the enemies. That's not a good idea in this game. I was able to do it in one mission, but that's only because I was playing as a different character in the same area. It just had a different enemy layout, so I knew where I had to go. So I tried to sneak through, but then I got spotted, so I was like, screw it, I can just run, and I did that. I'm pretty sure I missed a mission objective then, because I didn't get to explore the area as much as I did with some of the other like little areas, but it's definitely an option in some cases. In other cases, when you have partners, that's not an option. Especially when you get to one of the characters, who is a girl, I can't remember her name. Just open up the manual quick. When you get to having, where is the character guide? When you get to having Miyako Kajiro, who's blind, and because of that, she can only see using sight jack, which is really cool because that ties more into the lore of the world. But it's definitely a really cool game. It's a very Japanese horror game. Voice acting is not the best, and I'm really disappointed that there's not Japanese voice acting with subtitles, because it's European English, which I would say I would be better, but some of their voices don't match properly. Like some of the characters, it sounds okay, but others it's like, that sounds weird. He's got like a British accent. I can't do it. I'm not gonna do it because then I'm just gonna sound horrible. But definitely something to check out if you're interested in a new kind of horror. Well, not new, but like something different. I'm definitely gonna keep playing this. Pick it up if you find it. And as I was going back, because I backtracked and I talked about things I wasn't going to, the remake, not sure if I want to get it, and the reason for that is because they take out a lot of the Japanese horror thing, and rather than have a bunch of people from different backgrounds in Japan, like, a student or somebody that lives in the village, or there's a couple like different religious kind of people that as of right now, I don't know if they're good or bad. And there's also like the one dude I think is like a detective or something. They scrap that whole thing and instead throw in an American camera crew of like 8 people, and that seems, even though it's a reimagining, I feel as if they had to change the story a lot, because you're not playing as, I don't know, the characters that fit in with the story. It's almost like when they remade The Grudge for English audiences, or Grudge, I think it's either in the first one or the second one, they end up going to Japan or something, and it's really weird because you see a bunch of white people wandering around, and then there's Japanese people mixed in, and it's really weird because they tried to tie it back to make it sound like it made sense, but then it doesn't make sense, and it's really weird, and it may still be scary, but it's weird, and it doesn't. I don't know. But if you can find a copy of Siren, pick it up. If you're European, pick up the first one, which is called Forbidden Siren in your parts, or pick up Forbidden Siren 2, which we don't have, which I might try and import if this is really good, because that game sounds interesting too, but we'll talk about that later if I can get a copy of it. And if you can't find either of them and you want to try, maybe possibly think about getting like one episode of Siren Blood Curse, because that's what the remake is called, and it's on PS3, like, so PSN Network. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna try that one. I might if I like get the craving to just keep playing more Siren after I beat this one. But if you're interested in trying this interesting kind of horror experience, think about getting Siren Blood Curse for the PS3. Try like I said, try episode 1 because it's episodic. So buy episode 1, and if you like it, don't buy the rest of the episodes individually. Just flat out buy the thing, because if I'm not mistaken, there's like 12 episodes, and it's more expensive to buy each episode individually than it is to buy the whole pack. So again, try the first episode, buy the full pack if you like it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, leave a comment and a like below. And if you really like the video, go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to try and do this more often. Every Friday, there's either going to be something like this or a couple other ideas I'm fiddling with for this channel. So, thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.